welcome to part 2 of the Misadventures of Trouble the Amazonian, a tribute to a good friend of mine who's actually a good gamer herself. She's really skilled at games like Destiny 2, Monster Hunter World, things like that. You know, she's definitely got the skills, and starting later in this newer generation of gaming consoles, she's actually surprisingly very...
You head to Wallace's underground labyrinth to look for the magician Lucane.
Okay, we're going to the underground here. And let's see. I was gonna say, each one of us, you know, like growing up, we got into gaming somehow. Like for me, it was, you know, one of my cousins actually let us borrow his Nintendo for a while, for a year actually, and we actually got addicted to it, and we got our own later on, and that is the start. Like we did have the Atari 2600 for that, but that was not the moment that got, you know, that like made me say, hey, this is something I want to do. Like, it was the Nintendo. It was like
this underground
Mario
labyrinth
Brothers.
is said to have been made in a single night with powerful magic. It is a dangerous place, replete with traps. It bars entry to all who would dare.
Gotta let that guy finish talking, man. It's pretty loud. But yeah, like it was that first one of Super Mario Brothers, you know, getting used to the mechanics of the Mario Brothers. Now you'd think, like, you know, looking back, we all think it's an easy game. It's not the hardest thing to do. It's got its, you know, challenge, but it's not like that hard as it was. But like when I first started playing, oh man, I can't tell you how awkward it felt. Like, it felt like, I always compare it to like what it would be like to walk on the moon. You just feel like it's a different sort of gravity. Like you're controlling something that is,
it's my turn.
That is a different, you know, gravity situation. And Mario, bless him, man, he fell in that first ditch like numerous times. Like it took me an hour to get past
the trap was sprung, and the door magically closed fast.
I gotta get to that.
Slime creatures are weak against fire. The torch on the wall could be used to great effect.
Where's the torch on the wall? Okay.
The clink of metal hitting the ground can be heard.
Yeah, you gotta take care of this stuff before it, you know, outpaces your like 10 uses. It's the stuff, man. It's the stuff. But yeah, like Mario, it took me an hour to clear that first ditch in that first world, first level. Like I cannot.
You obtain a magic key to open the door.
Gotta get out of there before our party dies. Let's see.
Enemies.
Like for all of us, there is a starting point. You know, something or someone that got us into gaming, and I think, like, yeah, if you want to leave a comment, like, tell me what was your starting point. That would be cool, but like, outside of that, we also have inspiration that comes from players that we see who do well, like Ninja, like everybody, you know, even though I don't like that kind of idol.
Out of the blue, a mouse darts out and leaps onto your palm. The rodent claims to be the apprentice of Wallace the magician. He says he was tasked with caring for the laboratory while Wallace was gone, but it is beset by malevolent magic users. When you ask about Lucane, the apprentice answers that his master's friend went into the labyrinth and hasn't returned. Your quest to find Lucane is delayed as you attempt to liberate the lab for Ricky the Magician's apprentice.
Okay,
The door to the laboratory is through this hall.
He's still talking. Still talking. Anyway, the idol worship that goes on in the gaming industry, all these people lifting up these streamers while trying to be a noticed streamer themselves, I just can't, you know, I just don't think that's a cool way to go about it. I mean, you look at these guys, and there are other people that don't even get noticed that have, like, as much talent, you know, as much skill, if not more. And, you know, like Trouble, my friend, she is exceptionally well at the Destiny 2. I mean, she is pro tier. She don't want to admit it. She stays humble, and I respect that. But in all honesty, she is pro tier. She I mean, ranking up 30 kills in like just one match, like that is stuff that you see in top tier, like COD and all that stuff, like Call of Duty and all that top tier stuff. Like,
I got it.
I can't even. I understand what she does. Like, she plays it. I mean, she plays it well. She says she holds back, and like it's not as flashy as the spotlighted players do, you know, how they run in there, they're running and gunning, and putting on a show, no scope, and all that stuff, which I think is rigged half the time, but it's another story for another time. Where, like, she plays it smart. Like, she'll like go in there, she'll play defensive, she'll focus on the team effort. Like, she sticks with the team, even though the team don't always stick with her. Can't even remember how this how this goes. Yeah, you gotta step on those things in like a certain order or something. It's can't even remember. I have to skip that for now. But like Trouble, you know, I respect her being humble about things, and, you know, not boasting or bragging or, you know,
It's my turn.
showing the clips and stuff, but she really is skilled.
Because the laboratory was being misused,
And I think
some of the experiments housed within have now run amok. There's been a
think
population
she, inspired
explosion
me a
of
little to,
mutated beings
better
that
Game
spread
2.
their spores around. The labyrinth is overrun by fungi.
Outstanding.
Golden Skull. But you didn't know that? That's the secret. You burn that fungus
I got
away
it.
and get in there.
Simple.
But yeah, Trouble, like, she always tries to push me, like in, like in competitive gaming, like Destiny or Monster Hunter World, to try out the harder stuff. She says, you know, she tries to convince me I can do it, but like, I'm a little stubborn, you know, I don't have that much, because I'm not really,
Oh crap.
well, truth is I've kind of turned casual, like, over the years. I don't really spend the amount of time to perfect gameplay. I don't, like, my job sort of keeps me jumping between games, keeps helps me not invested in one. Given I have spent a lot of time in Mortal Kombat 11, but that being said, like most of my time is spent grinding for the gear and the unlockables and stuff, and I've been doing most of that on autopilot.
What?
Yeah, but I think a lot of the time these inspirations that people have, like Ninja and thing, they're no better than like people that aren't in the spotlight. They're just, the only thing they've got going for them that sets them apart is the sponsorships, the connections, the industry connections. I think there are plenty on that level of skill, and that even that level of popularity among their friends. That like a lot of Ninja's popularity is superficial. I think it comes from people wanting to fit into the cool crowd, be associated with him, and he caters to that. He's like all about his fans and stuff supposedly, but he never really is like that invested. He's not only a true friend, basis. Everybody's just a number.
They're here.
And that's what popularity will do to people like, the whole follower, thing. It'll just like turn people into numbers, and they'll become like, people will have their favorites, people will have their friends that they talk to, and I'm guilty of that to some extent. Like I talk to some more than others, and I don't mean to. Like most of the time, it's just because I can't. I don't know what people are thinking.
Destroy the cocoons before they hatch, or they'll keep coming.
I don't know people to talk, or if they just want to be left alone. Got another Duke Beetle.
Found some bones that seem to belong to Lucane in the depths of the labyrinth. The tattered raiments and jewelry leave no doubt that the corpse is indeed Lucane's.
Gandalf of Dragon's Crown.
You bring back the bones of the magician Lucane.
Yeah, I think some...
You found Lucane, but he was dead.
Yeah,
you
dead.
imagine the fairy will be overcome with grief, but you need to return to her.
I'm gonna say, before I go in there, I'm gonna say, like, some of these these people that are popular, they're inspirations to people, and that's okay. You know, they're like whatever, they're gaming idols and like ninja, and you know, people look up to them and say, you know, I want to be like that. But I think Ninja's popularity is like, it's just superficial in a way. It's like, it's sponsorships basically, and connections and things like that. Like I said in my article, I think it plays into that cool kid, you know, thing. Everybody wants to be in with a cool kid, cool crowd, and but there are people out there who aren't in the limelight, who are just as skilled, just as cool.
When you enter the laboratory, the fairy frantically flits around you, as if it senses your uneasiness.
Tinkerbell.
Upon seeing Lucane's bones, the fairy enters into a panic. She begins tugging at your arm to get you to leave the tower.
Gotta resurrect
The fairy is
Lucane.
apparently attempting to lead you somewhere. You collect Lucane's bones and follow her. As you enter, a kindly voice echoes from the back. You seem to be in need of help, a monk says, and approaches you. You nervously hand the monk the bones of Lucane. Allow this heart to beat again. Quench their thirst. Lead the wandering soul back. Reverse death. And awaken them. The prayer reaches the goddess, and the pile of bones is once again given flesh. Lucane, shocked to find himself alive, thanks you profusely. He tells you to visit him at his laboratory and leaves. The resurrected magician has returned to the old tower in town. You decide to see him to ask more details.
I'll tell you why this game is actually really, really good. I try to get people to buy into it. I don't know how many people did, but
the magician
Vanillaware
Lucane
is awesome.
is waiting for you in the laboratory of the old tower.
Old tower.
It seems that dying had an adverse effect on his short-term memory. Lucane can't remember why he went to meet Wallace. Lucane is researching magic called runes, which are closely tied to spirits and fairies. Lucane introduces his fairy friend to you. Her name is Tiki. She left the fairy
Tinkerbell.
forest due to her strong curiosity. He thanks you again for saving him and allowing him to enjoy life's rich pageant. He displays his magic trinkets. Lucane says he'd be happy to sell you these items at a fraction of the normal price and answer any questions you have. What will you ask? The magician Wallace was an old friend of Lucane's. He was known as a great magician. He sealed that group, or myopia of Cyclopes, in a labyrinth and saved the land. He also mentored young magicians in his tower. He was also the king's trusted advisor, and Lucane trails off. It seems that Lucane's memory has failed him again. Before you realize it, Tiki is following you around. She seems to have taken a liking to you. She will accompany you on your adventures henceforth. Fairies are known to be adept at finding hidden things.
Tiki Bell. Need to ask about the runes.
Oh, how can I help you?
I guess I don't get to ask about them now. Anyways, stop by the Adventurers Guild.
A letter from the castle has come to you via the guild. It simply says to report to the castle in all haste.
You're back. You have a request.
get all that common stuff up there first.
You assume that the letter was sent by the Prime Minister. Perhaps he has another request for you. Count Dean is waiting for you at the throne room. It is he who sent the letter. After your previous encounter, you can only assume that he's up to something nefarious. You brace for combat. The guards have drawn their swords and are blocking the exit. Count Dean starts talking to you in a soft voice. He says that he has personally requested your assistance in performing a task for him. He wants you to scout Bilberon Fortress on the border. This underground fortress is a well-known structure. Originally built to defend against the Orc army, it now lies in Orc hands. Scout them and learn their invasion routes. It is a very dangerous mission, but refusal means that you will be at the mercy of Dean's guards. You accept. Per Count Dean's request, you agreed to infiltrate and surveil the subterranean fortress at the country's border.
Welcome to my shop.
Welcome to the shop. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but like, back on the ninja thing, I think there are more skilled players out there. I think his only, his only advantage, or the only thing that makes him stand out is like his sponsors, his association with certain people, his connections, industry connections, him being spotlighted. I mean, they could really seriously pick anybody. There are plenty of talented gamers out there that, probably deserve spotlight even more because they're not peddling, items, like trying to sell sponsored stuff or whatever. But then you have these,
What would you like?
You have these people peddling stuff. So, I mean, it's a crooked business. Like, you really do sell out when you get into the spotlight, and that's kind of what I respect about Trouble. She don't want to get into the spotlight. She don't want to, be spotlighted like that. Or even though she's got the skill, she could topple plenty of those guys in the major leagues, tournament level stuff. And
which one do you want?
She could seriously do better than guys like Ninja. I mean, she don't play Fortnite, I'm not saying that, but like, if he was in Destiny 2, man, she'd give him a run for his money. And it's part of the reason I've been offered like interviews and different things from major publications and industry people and stuff, and being offered to access to these events and things. And I just don't want to be spotlighted like that either. I don't think it's I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the hassle. I think it makes people think less of you. Like people will think you're a sellout. They'll think you're, because you see these people. You see people like Ninja. Their whole stream is nothing but advertisements and whatever. And that's what it becomes about. It becomes a business about peddling product. And that's what these esports people want. They want their spotlighted heroes to
What would you like?
to actually, perpetuate sales, to actually sell their product. Esports is a sham. Well, I'm gonna be straight up front. It's just a way for industry bigwigs to make money, for the sponsors to capitalize on the sponsored, and for the
Wandering one, how can I help
the big
you?
businesses, the actual, games that are being played in the tournaments for them to make money. Because it translates into sales. People watch it, they get hyped. They say, they go beg into their parents or whatever, to buy them, this DLC, this microtransaction, whatever. It's all about making money. Esports is, and I think it undermines the whole purpose of fair competition or just competition in general. It just makes a spectacle out of it, more along the lines of wrestling and its episodic nature, this little versus themes between participants or whatever. Let's see, resurrect somebody here. Got an elf.
Allow this heart to beat again. Quench their thirst. Lead the wandering soul back. Reverse death. And awaken them.
I like that little cutscene. Death sucks. I have to agree, Claire. Death does suck. Yeah, it hurts my party. I like that. But yeah, it's just esports it's been bad for like a lot of the gaming industry, because you think they'd be marketing like games or spotlighting games that have actual competitive value, but they are doing it to attract the casual player, to actually make bank on the casual player, and they're adjusting like what would have been normally competitive gameplay. Like, you have to learn the stuff, you have to get skilled at it. They are actually gearing it towards easy mechanics, telling people that they can be top tier. But what is top tier if you're like
Okay.
All right.
if like the competition isn't that hard. Like, I mean, if you could just like press single buttons and get out combos, like just spam combos that you would have normally had to actually manually do in a fighting game per se, what kind of competition is that? It's dumbing down competition. It's actually making competition less than what it was, and I don't know. It's all about making money at the end of the day. And they spotlight these gamers. They use them. They're tools. They're useful tools, and selling product, and that's what it is. It's competition isn't what it used to be. I used that as the title of a video before, but like really, it seriously is not what it used to be. You know what? I think I'm going to, instead of forward the story, I'm going to go back to one of these earlier quests and do like one of the side quest things. It's not Doom Beetle, it's the Temple Ruins, I think is one of them. But yeah, I mean,
Many things lie within the ruins of the old Elysian temple. Some quiescent, some far less so.
there's always going
An
to be
ancient dragon, spoken of in myths, is said to have destroyed the Elysian civilization in one night.
There's always going to be a ninja. There's always going to be some spotlighted player peddling products through sponsors.
It's my turn.
Showcasing the game, making it look cool. And players. I mean, there are plenty of players out there, dime a dozen that are skilled. And games aren't really nothing, like unique or brag worthy, like per se. I mean, it's cool that you can you can be, you know, pro level, or you can be a scrub, you know, the difference between, but like,
Whoa!
I don't know, like the real records, you know, like back in the day where like the records were about the score, like in an arcade game, like where you got the top score and you got the bragging rights, and you got, you know, just
Quit it. Oh, let's see.
that was the true competition. Like, what's going on now, like in these dumbed down competitive experiences that are for casuals, well,
The Orc army is apparently getting here via the waterway. Their cargo is various articles from ships that had been reported missing.
see, I just completed the side quest there.
Stem.
But yeah, it's just, competition isn't what it used to be. It's not as brag worthy. Everybody's got their play. You know, everybody's got their good game they're good at.
I got it.
There are tons of people good at games.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not saying, you know, nobody, you know, it's not, there's not brag worthy feats being done or anything. But, you know, like I said, my friend Trouble, she's like one of the best Destiny 2 players I've ever seen, Destiny players. And she's definitely got skill. And there's, you know, like she could, you know, be up there in the spotlight, you know, up there with Ninja and the best. But like, she's humble about it, you know, and you know, there are others. She admits there are others that are like better hurt by her, you know, than her by a margin. But that's not she to say she's bad. But it's just, you know, a point to be made. It's like the degree of skill and mastery. Like when somebody gets to the top tier, there's not much room to impress. There's not much, you know, really to be done. Like it's just a numbers game. Like it's just popularity, fight for popularity in the end. You know, like look at me, notice me. I can do this, I can do that. You know, 360, no scope, whatever. You know, trying to figure out tricks, throwing hatchets. You know, like you used to do back in the day in the Call of Duty early days on YouTube, where people would like toss a hatchet or something across the map, try to get a one-hit kill from the start. And it's cool. You know, it has its moment, and then all of a sudden it's just
As you investigate the wall painting, you detect that the area
fades,
behind
you know?
the wall has been hollowed out.
people move on, or you know, some people don't. If you can hear that lawnmower, you know, apologies. Grass is being cut, so yeah, you probably can hear that. I don't know. I think that's what, you know.
Oh yeah.
What's wrong with Twitch and streaming in general? It's oversaturated. I think everybody's fighting for the spotlight. Really, if you are, you know, making it to the top, and it's like everybody's being used. It's like everybody, they're either being used to sell the game as, you know, like the sponsored, you know, gaming idol, or they're like being used as the one who is streaming, you know, down the ladder of players, you know, the lesser players doing their channels and stuff. It's just oversaturated. It's all about trying to get noticed, but you're not really getting noticed. What's getting noticed is the game, the sponsors, the money side of things, the business side of things. People, you're just selling products for these companies, and that's what they want. That's what they. That's why they lift these people up. Why they have them spotlighted, have them the heroes of whatever game, you know, insert game here, whatever.
Careful!
Back in the day before the YouTube and streaming was even a thing, like, kids looked cool by word of mouth. They were, you know, their friends saw what they did, and they, you know, said that, you know,
There seem to be more
along
nests
or
similar to
whatever.
this one spread throughout the area. You exit the area, taking care to avoid...
I had to skip all that. But yeah, I think it's oversaturated. I think esports in general has it's done some damage to the industry. It's done some damage to the quality of gaming. It's changed the focus. You know, that like everybody's wanting to do battle royale now. Everybody's wanting to do that next best battle royale game or whatever, and everybody's wanting to do the trending thing instead of trying something unique and special, something that really puts a proper challenge out there. It's got to be casual, it's got to be accessible to everyone to maximize on the profit to be made. It's creating a sea of money making, perpetual money making is all it is. It's just a sea of commoners. Like, we're all fighting for that little piece of spotlight. Let's see.
Okay.
All right. I'm ready for this.
And everybody's trying to, you know, when a new game comes out, everybody tries to jump on it. You know, try to be that first, trying to be that one that, you know, that's known for that game, trying to capitalize on it. And all they're really doing is getting that game noticed, getting that game, you know, sold to people. Let's see, resurrect somebody here. Oh, we got another elf. Level 7 elf and a level 7 wizard. We can do that.
Allow
Clarice.
this heart to beat again. Quench their thirst. Lead the wandering
I don't know how
soul
bad
back.
that lawnmower sound is to you
Reverse
guys, but
death.
yeah, that person out
And
there
awaken
cutting
them.
grass. Cutting the grass right next to my window.
Allow this heart.
I'm gonna skip that. I can fight again, Clarice. Okay, of course you can. I'm gonna go change my characters. See, I'll let a couple of them go because they're low level. Try to get the top allies in here. Get Clarice up in here.
Okay.
Get Elliot. Diago. Yeah, get Diago
All
over
right.
there. I'll leave the rest be for now. Gotta change my gear, actually. Gotta get my gear appraised here.
Welcome to my shop.
Praise
What would you
items.
like?
Level 7, yes. Level 8. B. Let's see, glasses. Sell that stuff.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, I think we're all caught up in, like, we think we can make a career out of, you know, being in the spotlight. But at the end of the day, we're all fighting for crumbs. We're all fighting for something that does us little good and does the industry, you know, everything. I mean, we're selling these things, these experiences, and we're trying to get noticed, but like it's just not gonna happen. It's saturated. It's they got their favorites, and you know when their favorites, you know get old and tired, and then they find another one. It's just manufactured idols for the sake of
What would you like?
for the sake of making money, and we all get caught up in it, and we all think we can make it big, but you know, it doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. Let's see, repair
Which one do you
equipment.
want?
Let's see, what can we do? Equipment. That's level 2. Thought I had another weapon. Level 7, I guess I'm not ranked up enough. That sucks. Level 6, that's why I'm level 6, okay. Get your act together, Brad. Get your act together.
Welcome to my...
See what they
What
got.
would you like?
Defense tonic. Heal potion, 17 uses. Explosives. Let's see. Explosives. Defense tonic. Spell, that's good. Let's see. Need to go to the guild and see if I can cash in some
You're
of the
back.
things. Let's see. Got the honey buzzards. Reminds me of, was that honey badger? Honey buzzards. You get cool artwork. That's another thing about this game. The artwork is amazing. The animations are really good. Vanillaware does some awesome games. I was hoping that before this year was over, they would bring back Mirror Mass of the Demon Blades with all the DLC that was on the Vita. That would be awesome. Like, I would buy that. I bought the collector's edition of this, actually. The Steelbook version. That Steelbook is awesome. Got a little thing on there telling about it, as it were. Let's see. I learned some skills. Got 2 points. Vitality. Vitality would be good. Try to level up all these main ones first. Get vitality first. Wealth to health. Nope. Red's not paying attention here. Okay, I'm gonna have to go for something different. Uses that would be good, actually. Nope. Level 3. Slight attack. Pretty cool, pretty cool. We'll do this one quest, this thing, I think. And then I'm going to close it down. But yeah, I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel. Hopefully somebody will enjoy it for what it's worth. But like, you know, as a question on the bottom says, you know, who or what inspired you to be a gamer? Like, what got you into gaming? You know, leave a comment when I get it on YouTube, and let me know. Let me know. For me...
The Orc army presently controls Bilberon, the underground fortress built into the canyon. The King's army has been mounting a fierce offensive to try and reclaim the fortress.
For me, the inspiration came from my family. I think that's how I first got into it, family and friends. After that, it was just that first time with the Nintendo that got me hooked. Actually, had a Atari 2600 with the cartridges.
It's my turn.
For that, Yar's Revenge was one of the games we had. We had one called Face Maker, sort of a kid's game where you could like, I guess, make faces, little cartoon faces and stuff. This is interesting. Like,
You step into the enemy kitchen. A corpulent chef grabs a goblin instead of meat and suddenly stops. The cook, sensing your presence, stares directly at you. Luckily, her sight's not so keen, so she doesn't notice you. Eventually, the chef returns to her meat cutting. You use the goblin's screams to mask your escape.
I love this game, I really do. Yes, to try to get all the treasures.
They're here.
Be careful.
I thought that was Randy for a second. What is he doing? Attacking things.
Oh yeah.
I needed those bombs. Let's see, where can get those bombs. Okay, sweet. Sweet. Secrets. Gotta get Saul to go.
Enemies?
Go here.
They're here.
Best death ever. That's one thing I liked about this game. You could leave like a death quote, like for when, and players could actually find your dead body where you died in the game, and resurrect you and use you as a actually use you as a teammate, sort of like one of these tag-along things.
Outstanding. Let's see. Simple.
What?
This way, I think it's right here, actually. There it goes. But you see those runes on there? Later on, you'll be able to, like, add them up, you know, sort of do a spell and conjure different things, different effects. I actually heard they were supposed to be working on a, Vanillaware was working on a different game, a new game. But I don't know if it'll ever come to the West. I don't know how well the cells did on this. Like, they were trying to get back into the thing, into the market, and try to be, you know, viable studio, I guess.
It's my turn. Simple. Outstanding. I got it. Oh, yeah.
They're here.
It's my turn. Voila! Let's see. Simple. Oh, I can do that. Filthy Luca.
I think there was actually a thing you could do there where you wouldn't, where you weren't supposed to wake him up, and you could actually get a secret. It's a quest or something, side quest, I think it was.
it. Luca. Oh, I can do that.
At the bottom of the stairs is an area connected to the sewers. This seems your most likely escape route.
What?
After defeating the Minotaur, you move through the sewer's filth. The reconnaissance mission went well. You gathered intel and slipped back across enemy... Among the treasures you claimed is the great sword of the hero Javelin. You succeeded in acquiring intel on the underground fortress. This job will be completed once you report to Count.
Don't want to do that.
Welcome
just
to my
now.
shop. What would you like?
Let's see.
Which one do you want? What would you like? Which one do you want?
Attack 3 to 6. 6, 8 to 17. Level 7. Switch that up. See if she got a bag for sellers.
Welcome to my shop. What would you like?
See who I can resurrect here. Canaan Temple.
Wandering one, how can I help you?
Best death ever. He probably wants to be potions useless now. Griselda. Damn, ale soused apple. I like it. I like it.
Allow this heart to beat again. Quen.
There's a dwarf base level. Bury these guys. Bury this.
May they rest in peace.
Bury.
May they rest in peace.
Bury.
May they rest in peace.
Yes.
May they rest in peace. May they rest in peace. May they rest in peace. May they rest in peace.
Sometimes they'll give you, like, if it's a person who is wanting to be buried, like, they'll give you something.
As you leave the temple, a ragged old man slumped in the road calls out to you in a gravelly voice. His raspy voice makes it difficult for you to discern if he's even speaking your language. You can give him a coin if you feel pity for him. Of course, he doesn't even acknowledge the coin. He mutters over and over. You probably won't be able to communicate with him, no matter how long you strain your concentration.
Choose allies. Let's see. Griselda's definitely getting in there. Clarice. And Elliot. Let's see, can part ways with these. Part ways with Diego. Part ways with Claire. Part ways with Reynolds. Yes. And let's see, report adventures. Save it there, and now we're in. Make sure I saved it. I don't know if I did or not. I did. Gotta report to Count Dean at the castle here. Try to complete it. Let's see.
You report everything you learned to Count Dean. Unfortunately, you also mention the hero's legendary sword. Naturally, he demands the great sword, but at least he's in a good mood now. He thought you'd just flee, but you didn't. It seems that he thinks much more highly of you now. Dean confides in you some of the problems in the castle. Once the king went missing, the Prime Minister began recommending the Archduke MacNeil of Bulgar to the throne. Bulgar is an aggressive nation to the north. MacNeil is related to the King of Hydeland and has a legal claim to the throne. Count Dean claims that MacNeil has been rallying nobles in Hydeland to support his claim to the throne. That's why Dean hired Tommet to steal the scepter. He says that Tommet is extremely trustworthy, so long as he is paid. Suddenly, the Prime Minister and the Princess appear. It seems you are being watched. The Count glowers and departs. The Prime Minister warns you not to involve yourself any further. The Princess, as usual, looks back with blank eyes. Since you completed the job at the castle, you return to the Adventurers Guild to tell them what transpired. Roland also happens to be here to report on a job. However, Samuel is not here. Roland is waiting for him to return. Roland thinks that he just missed him and asks you to track down the Guildmaster and bring him back. You look for Samuel, the Guildmaster. He should be somewhere in town.
Welcome to my shop.
It's not there.
Wandering one, how can I help you?
You stand before the goddess statues. Texts say the goddess is Althena, the one in the... If your party falls during your... If you are repeatedly depending... A giant man in armor finishes his prayers and turns around. His pensive expression quickly turns fierce as he sees you. He tells you that he was praying because he has sent many friends to look for the king, but they haven't found the slightest clue. When you ask to help, Samuel just nods and hands you a request form. It's the same request the temple gave you. In a remote region, marriageable girls are disappearing one by one. The catacombs are believed to be linked somehow. As you leave the temple, a ragged old man slumped in the road calls out to you in a gravelly voice. His raspy voice, you can give him a coin if... He doesn't even... You probably... To solve the mystery of the disappearances, you head to the catacombs, where the villagers fear to tread.
Well, that's where we're going to end this episode, friends. Next one's going to be a battle with the vampires. you know, and tried to save the maidens. I think if you save all of them, there's some like a kind of special thing that happens or whatever. And yeah, I think we'll cut it there. I'm gonna upload this over an hour into it, and yep, this is been a tribute to Trouble, my BFF, best gaming friend, as it were, and yeah, to Trouble, yep, all that good stuff. And let's see, save it real quick. I shall talk at you guys later. Take care.